Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, William.
Listen, a few things in the news today.
Just a few.
There's a lot in the news today. The USC thing I wanted to talk about.
It's kind of interesting outside, too, coming in. It's almost like a sun fog. I've never seen this before.
Sun fog?
And it's a little slippery out there, so be careful out there because I was really amazed at I can't explain it to you right now, but it's almost foggy, but the sun is so bright. I love the sun, but it may be a little dicey out there.
Are you into some of those mushrooms? Have you been, what is going on here? They're saying that. Listen, it is. It's kind of. I can see the sun, and it's very, very bright. Yet you have the fog. You're absolutely.
That was pretty good, William.
And we're still.
I don't even like mushrooms, but
we're back at Woodstock here. It's like, yeah.
We're still at 32, by the way. So, as the senator mentioned, those wet spots might be water, might be ice. So, be very careful.
Okay.
UFC.
What?
Nothing. I just.
It's the mushrooms. We're sharing them now.
Yeah, I think we're all consuming them here today. Yeah. Well, let's start over.
Okay.
Good morning, Senator Griffo.
Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Andrew and Jeff. How's everybody doing?
So in the news, I do want to say Utica School of Commerce. That's sad. After over 100 years.
You know, yesterday was a really hectic day in the office, and I got a call from Mr. Williams, which I never had an opportunity to return back last night. So then I saw the news, obviously, on TV last night, so I'll be calling him today. Yeah, it is really, the family has been involved in the business for over 100 years.
Yeah.
It was very successful. I'm not sure all the factors that caused the decision that was made, but I will reach out to Mr. Williams today. They're a great family, and USC was a great educational institution. So it is. You're right. When things like that happen,
with everything going on, and that there wasn't the ability to have a transition into social marketing, social media. I mean, people are buying courses all over. The problem, though, I think, is you can for $30 a month, you can take a course online on YouTube, and somebody teaches you how to. But it's amazing that. Community colleges are struggling as well today. Their enrollment is really, really down.
They are, and I think you're right. As you look at new technologies and different methods to bring people into the equation through social media, through other telemedicine is going to be a big thing ultimately now too. Yeah. So we're on the edge of a lot of these things that will change the dynamics, and how it will affect local businesses and the economy remains to be seen. But this is unfortunate and sad, and hopefully I'll get more information when I speak to them this morning.
We had UFC fighter John Vellante on earlier this morning, and he's from Long Island, New York guy, was a part of the fighting to legalize, along with yourself, legalize UFC and mixed martial arts in New York State. And, of course, there's a fight night coming up in Albany on Friday night.
Yeah, that's great. It's we've had 3 of them now. You've had the Madison Square Garden event, this in Albany, the first UFC event. We had the Turning Stone hosting one, and I think another one is in the cards too. No pun intended there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's a great opportunity, I think, for people who enjoy the sport to now be able to spectate, to go to watch these things firsthand, and also for fighters from our state, particularly who are athletes that are involved in mixed martial arts, to compete in their home state. Yeah. I have not had an opportunity to see anything. Ticket prices I don't know what's going on in Albany. I should maybe answer the questions here and get on the phone, right? You're giving tickets away, right? Am I eligible?
We did earlier.
Am I eligible for that?
We'll do it later in the week. And yes, you are not eligible.
Okay, thank you. The costs are astronomical, though. When down in the city, when we were looking at them, they were talking about $1,200 a ticket. I just don't understand how the average person gets to afford that.
They win them on the radio.
They win them on the radio.
Well, and I believe that event did sell out. I want to, you pushed for this for many years, and I know Turning Stone is close, but that wasn't a UFC event. Any word on the Odd hosting something?
It's interesting, Jeff, because one of the things that I really had advocated for as I supported the concept of allowing mixed martial arts in the state of New York and got to know a lot of people in the UFC, developed some good relationships. The only thing I'd ever asked for is that they obviously, when they are looking at upstate events, pay close attention to the Odd. And if you recall, they were here several times. They met with Rob Ash. In fact, Rob was at the bill signing ceremony in Madison Square Garden with me. Then they sold the UFC.
Yeah.
And I really don't know many of the players now. I did
Right.
get a nice letter from Mr. Emanuel. That's the mayor of Chicago's brother. Ari Emanuel now is like
Okay.
the chief
All right.
managing partner. But I haven't met anybody, so I don't know. There was a general.
Funny how the sale came after, of course, they were able to,
Exactly.
to enter the very, very lucrative New York market.
It's correct. You
Yeah.
know, and what an
Yeah.
investment, right? $2 million to make $4 billion.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Jeff. I hope I spoke to a couple of people who are still associated with the UFC in somewhat different capacities and roles, and I reminded them that they had said they would really look at Utica as one of the first fights that sites when they are doing this. Now, obviously, the Garden in Albany had already be put together, so I'm hopeful maybe next year Utica will come into the equation. I know that Rob and the Audit Authority are going to be aggressive in trying to host such an event, so that's working in our advantage too.
So we mentioned that. Today the Arterial, the exit that goes to the south on the Arterial from Oriskany Street is opening today. Big day, Joe.
It is a very big day, and there's a lot of money that was invested in the Arterial. Hopefully this will allow for people to be able to traverse the area in a much easier and more quickly.
Yeah.
I think that's important not only from the fact that we want to get from one place to another, but also from an economic perspective. It always helps when you can move. Like the Utica-Rome Expressway, I think was one of the best things that happened to connect the two cities in the county. I mean, you can get here now in 15 minutes. So this is a big day, and I want to thank the DOT. I think they did an extraordinary job along with the contractors because it was a pretty massive, not only from a financial investment perspective, but also from a work perspective.
And we're nearing, we're finally nearing the end of all of this. Okay, the biggie, though, today, and I know we're going to talk about the governor vetoing some key legislation, which baffles me a little bit. That farming thing, I didn't understand either, where farmers could get credit if they were to donate produce. What was up with that?
I think the mushrooms made it to Albany.
I think so. You might be right. The governor's on the funny mushrooms. Headline of the OD today, just above the fold, Marcy Nano project delayed but still alive. An official says corruption investigation of state projects holding up the progress. So I want to break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about where this is going and what has been held up. And, the big question is, when are we going to see those jobs filled? We've had the jobs announcement. When are we going to see that stuff filled? And are we still, that GE question is out there. Is GE really involved? I have a lot of questions, and we'll come back with the senator, Senator Joe Griffo.